We were just starting, so it wasn't even a short break. It was just starting time. Hello. Let me see how much you could hear the background noise. Yeah, that's too loud. Shut that off. Okay. When we left off, we were going through hours of horrible pain trying to deal with Microsoft stuff. And we are still doing that. Now we're trying to deal with this situation. So I have no idea what's going on. We're trying to call co-create instance. We didn't have any Windows horrible com mess stuff in our language yet, so we had to define all these things for this API that we are using, and we're trying to do the set of ridiculous steps that you need to do to ask where the Visual Studio folder is, because you can't do that through the registry anymore because that would be too easy. So, well, it wants a pointer to a GUID given GUID. Why does it want a pointer to a GUID? That's weird. Is it going to write something back to that? I don't know. Well, we got an H result that is an error. That's not at all surprising. Okay. Co-create instance. Return values. Let me just search for this number. Co-initialize has not been called. I call it. I call it right there. Maybe we can't co-init multi-threaded. Is it going to be executed every time you compile or once at installation of the compiler? No, unfortunately, this is being executed every time we compile. I don't really see a way around that that doesn't make things less robust. So, well, okay, so here's the thing, though. We only need to do this stuff if we need to link the libc kind of libraries, which we won't need to do for many programs. We will need to do this, if you link something that's compiled from C or C++. That's why we're doing this right now. Right now, we can't get away from the C library no matter what, but eventually we will be able to. Okay, well, it's claiming we didn't call co-initialize, which is funny because we did. Let's just call regular. Just call regular co-initialize. Oops. Whoops, wait. Why am I running Sokoban? I don't want to do that. So, okay, this code is also something. Okay. The parameter is incorrect. Invalid arg. There aren't any arguments. There aren't any arguments. How do I have invalid arg? Oh, wait. My declaration is wrong because I didn't finish. Ah, okay. 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 We're good, maybe. All right. Hey, it all actually worked now. And our okay, so what is going on here? Did it overwrite my UID? I don't think it did. So the result, oh, this is not, it was printed out before, and oh, we did print it out before. Yeah, so these are the same numbers. So it just wants a pointer to that struct because it's a struct and they don't want to pass it by value. They're not actually using it as output. Okay, that's great. So supposedly we have a setup configuration now. What is that? I don't even know. I don't care. We're just trying to get by. Okay. So we will just so we do this, and now we want to call enum instances on it. And okay, so now when it comes to our member pointers, I think I have to yeah, you have to pass this pointer as the first one. Let me go back to the, didn't we have a DirectX 11? What's going on? Or D3D11. So how is Ignacio doing his comm stuff? Okay, so he doesn't define explicitly a separate vtable. He just does this. So yeah, we need a this pointer on all of these. And then we need this pointer here. And then, is that it? So you have an iSetup configuration. We call enum instances. Okay. So let's just make sure our config looks valid. Okay, config it's got a vtable, it's got 3 procedures. Those don't look right to me. That does not look like a valid procedure pointer. Neither does that, but that does. Maybe those are, I don't know, but that, like 7FF whatever, is pretty reasonable. Oh, wait. Okay, it's not a... I wish I knew the right addresses. This bothers me. We don't need to call these, but the fact that they're messed up makes me wonder if this is really enum instances, or if one of these is enum instances, and the IUnknown vtable is messing us up somehow. I don't know. Yeah, no, it's crazy how much ridiculous things. There's a reason to do this for the C++ integration. Yes, so, you know, if you're linking a C++ library or even a C library, you need to link to the like, you need to link to the C runtime library, which is the thing that has stuff like the allocators and whatever. And running your global constructors and destructors and whatever. A lot of things. To link to that, you need to know where the thing is to link to. When people ship Visual Studio, when Microsoft ships Visual Studio, they say, run all these crazy prerequisite setup things, and then maybe you'll have a shell with the environment variables set up to tell you where those libraries are. We can't take that complex of a dependency. It's ridiculous. So we're doing all of this, which is also ridiculous, but at least if I do all these ridiculous things one time, then everyone who uses the language won't have to suffer, right? So this is just how it works. All right. This looks very bad to me. This is not good. But I don't know what to do about it. Let me just check my iSetup configuration. We might be missing some things. What were we looking at here? We were looking at this. Actually, we wouldn't be. So what they have enum instances as the first thing, and get instance for current process as the second thing. And get instance for path is the third thing, and that's it. The indentation makes this hard to tell what's going on, but that's basically how it is. So I don't know that that's right. Enum instances, get instance for current process, get instance for path. Maybe these just don't work and nobody ever calls them. Dude, I don't know. Maybe those do work. Maybe those are valid procedure pointers. They're just out of the range of the usual valid procedure pointers. So I don't know what to think about that. Okay. Actually, one of them ends in a 2. That's not even 8-byte aligned. So there's no way that's correct. Well, we're going to try calling what it claims to be enum instances and just see what happens. So config.enum instances config comma first thing to check. So co-create instance. Is it really? Look at all these web pages that I have open. Co-create instance. Address of pointer variable that receives the interface pointer. Yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure that wasn't supposed to be a more direct pointer. Okay, so enum instances. Well, how do we know? I guess it's that. So what do these return? Configuration. Oh, this is... This is like not the... Okay, C++. Oh, God. That's not... What are you doing? Let's go back over here. What does standard method do? Does that mean it returns in... No, standard method. Don't autocomplete my bullshit. Yeah, so standard method returns H result, which means all of these return H result. Okay. Well, I'm not too surprised that that is crashing. Because like I said, this stuff doesn't look good, so why should this be correct? What does the foreign tag indicate? The foreign tag indicates that it is in C or C++ right now. Last arg on co-create instance should be a void star star. It's a pointer to an iSetup configuration. What? I do not see the problem. But nevertheless, we have a messed up result. What I'm guessing from looking at this is the last valid procedure pointer. So this is probably get instance for path. This is probably get instance for current processes. This is probably enum instances. Yeah, see, these are all in 8.5 AA, right? And then these ones are in 8.4a. So is this wrong? Is the base class for iSetup configuration not IUnknown? Is it something else? I mean, it has to be IUnknown, doesn't it? I don't ever do COM. I don't know how any of this garbage works. Documentation doesn't really want to tell me anything useful about it. Everything in COM is based on IUnknown, right? And so IUnknown always has these three things, right? It always has query interface, add ref, and release. But if I'm correct, then enum instances is actually this pointer. It's actually add ref. So what's going on? Are we getting the wrong thing? Or maybe that's not what's happening. Maybe this isn't actually an iSetup configuration. Maybe the GUID is wrong and we're getting something else, right? That could be happening. No, dude, this documentation has a button where you push what language you want right here. Yes, I'm looking at C# documentation because that's the default on this fucking page. It's Microsoft. I mean, I guess I could try to alter these parameters up here, whatever. It doesn't, this is all completely unhelpful, automatically generated documentation. It doesn't, it's completely useless, basically, or almost completely useless. Why not just use the environment variable? Because then everybody who ever fucking wants to use this compiler has to set an environment variable. That's unacceptable. It's stupid. And it doesn't even work anymore because with the new Visual Studio, you have to set environment variables to be able to set the environment variables. It's crazy. And it's not like there's one environment variable. Have I checked out VSWare? Yes. Yes, it's a giant 10,000 line piece of garbage program. And no, we're not going to ship an executable that you have to run to tell you where the compiler is. That's also unacceptable. I'm mad because I've been doing this for like 6 hours now, and we're still not even halfway through the pile of garbage. It's just insane that this is what people are making programming into. It doesn't make any sense. This is what happens when people who don't understand programming determine what other people have to do when they're programming. It's just completely bananas. Yeah, you can go watch yesterday's stream to see what I think of VSWare. This is, I mean, if this is what I did all day, I would hate programming and I would stop being a programmer. Like, this would drive me out of the field of programming. Just ship the compiler in a Docker container in a Hyper VM. You're joking, but that's the way everything is going. Pretty soon, nobody is going to know how to ship software that's not in a Docker container. Could you show the co-create instance declaration? Sure. That could be wrong. It's true. Oh, you're saying this should be star void? Yeah. That won't matter. That won't change anything. But oh, it's here. Right. No? Oh, right. It's a pointer to an LP void. God, so dumb. Okay. So yeah, it's a double pointer. That won't actually change anything, because in terms of the calling convention, a double pointer is the same thing as a single pointer. So although now we're getting a type. Let's just XX that. We implicitly cast void pointer, but not double void pointer, right? Okay, so we're getting the same result, although we have, it's the same procedure values, I think, 85AA whatever. Yeah, AA38, AA40. So these themselves are just stub pointers. These are jumps that are 8 bytes apart. These are like jump instructions. And this is the last one. And then there's an integer 2, which for some reason was like a different integer last time. This one keeps changing, actually. And then this one looks like it doesn't change from run to run. Oh, no, it does also. Anyway, this could be a floating point number. I don't know. Maybe not. Exponent too small. Anyway, it's clear that this is the last procedure pointer. So I wonder if I've just got the wrong like, I still don't really understand this class ID versus instance ID situation. I mean, I guess this could be right, but like, if this is wrong, if we accidentally pasted somebody else's UID there, which I don't think we did, okay, so this is actually one of the useful things. So 428.43719, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what's going wrong. Sorry, I don't tend to re-explain for people who join late just because if I did that, we would never get anywhere because people keep joining, right? On Twitch, people are constantly joining, so you can go back and watch the earlier thing. Ref class ID is pointer to const IID. Oh, is this, wait, is that supposed to be a pointer? That would be very wrong. If that was happening, I don't even know how we got a correct return value. Well, we're getting the same results. I don't understand why we're getting the same result, but we are. That's the thing is co-create instance is succeeding and it's giving us back some pointers. Like these are all valid procedure pointers. We just don't know what they are. I mean, we could actually assume, I don't know, can't assume anything actually. But like it thinks it's giving us something, right? That's the weird thing. So we can't. Oh, I don't know. Unique the idea of having a temp allocator in the context. Your normal memory allocation strategy is permanent, transient, and scratch. So having it in the context system is really nice. Yeah, I found it to be like, I don't know why I didn't do that in C++ for the past 20 years. 'Cause, I mean, it's obviously not going to be as convenient in C++, but within your own game, you could work out a system that's a little bit like that, you know? It's interfacing with libraries that would not really be possible, but I don't understand why I didn't do that just within my own game for the past 20 years, because it's so useful and it makes your program so much faster. Because for all your allocations that you know are short-lived, you just have this common facility that you use, and it's great. Show the output again. I mean, we're getting this thing. It has 4 valid procedure pointers in it, followed by other values that are not procedure pointers. It's supposed to have, for all I know, 6 valid procedure pointers. When we call enum instances, we crash. That's probably because this is a different procedure than enum instances that expects different arguments. That might not be the only reason we're crashing. It could be something else. But the fact, like before we even tried to call this, as soon as this came up, I was like, oh, that's a red flag. So for some reason, it's filling us out something that has 4 procedure pointers. I don't understand how that's possible. Yeah, why do people in C or C++ not do it? I think it's just people get cultural conventions of how to program, and programming is so complicated now, and there's so many people saying what to do on the internet that it's hard for any individual programmer to tell what's good or bad. They just do what everybody else is doing, right? And so there's this kind of random walk through methods of how to program that's happening. Because if you're a young programmer who doesn't have that much experience, which is most programmers, because the field keeps growing, right? Because it keeps growing, the new people are young people. The only way they know what's good and what's bad is from what other people tell them. And most of that information is wrong. So, and then if you've been learning all this stuff that's bad, but you've been being told for years that it's good, your pattern match for what's good is totally miscalibrated now. So you might not even recognize something good if you saw it. It's a socio-ecological disaster of the highest order, honestly. Could it be that the last one is get instance for path? That is possible. In fact, it looks like that to me. Or, okay, so if you look at these pointers, this one is wrapping a little bit, so here we go. So these last three pointers are near each other, 85A, 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 right? This one is further away, 84A. So what if these last three are actually these three, right? And this 84A is actually release, right? And then the two previous before that are not there for some reason. But you might expect that because these are like ION-known base class methods, you would expect them to be packed together in a separate place far away from the derived class methods. So what we could do is we could try calling addref instead of enum instances and see if that works. That doesn't solve our problem, but it's one of these random things that you try just to see. Okay. Right. So the problem is addref has the wrong signature. How do I want to do this? Okay. F is cast to type of config.enum instances. Will this even work? Of config.addref. HR is F. Let's see if that works. All right, well, we crashed again. I don't really know. By the time I do this, like I've never tried this before in the compiler, so let's print it. We don't print out full procedure signatures. Yeah, we just don't print them right now. But this passed. I think this worked correctly because we passed the parameters, and if we like add another parameter, it's not going to work, right? Yeah. So I think just it's not the case that addref is really enum instances. It was a long shot. It was not that long of a shot. It was a medium shot. I mean, one thing we could do if we have LLVM generate the debug output. Oh no, we're running from bytecode. It won't matter. Ha ha. Ha ha. I mean, we could make compiled code that does this and try to... we have several options. We can make a compiled program that does this with better debug information and try to see if this stack will tell us anything, because we'll get a better stack. We could try to do the C++ version of this code because we need to do that also. We could do the C++ version of this code, get it working, and then try to see what the differences are. That is also a valid way to go. You're not seeing any documentation that indicates that enum instances takes any arguments. Yeah, that's true, huh? Oh, but that's, this is for this weird way of writing COM, right? Like, I don't even know what this is supposed to mean. That's not C++. This is like some kind of... Windows started doing this when they started shipping the Windows Store UCRT stuff. I don't even know what the hell that means. But I think what it means is that that's an out parameter and it returns an H result. If you look at the Zig version, they say it's a standard method and this is how that's returned. I think this is just Microsoft's way of sugaring up COM to try to make it look like regular things. Managed C++, okay. We have zero guarantee that the C++ version would work. Well, we certainly don't have a guarantee that the C++ version would work. I don't know if I were to assign a probability, I don't know what probability that would be. It's very likely, like, you know, when you're starting from scratch and you're just typing all this stuff in, it is very likely that we already identified 2 mistakes in what was done here, so it's very likely that there are more. And when you have mistakes in this stuff, well, that's how that works. Let me check this again. How do we... We had this somewhere. Dude, I don't know where to find this. We should double check this just to make sure that it's right. I don't remember. Here, okay, so this program also has this 177 FO4CA A360. A360, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, that GUID should be 428, etc. No, I think that's the IID. See, you're being reasonable in thinking we only need 1 GUID. That is not the case. We need 2 GUIDs to create this one thing for some reason that I don't understand. We need this one, and we need this one. This one is the one you're talking about. We use both of them. So this one is the first parameter, and this one is the last parameter. Actually, no, not the last parameter, the next to last parameter, the myUID. Why hell if I know? Am I aware of the header? There's an extra in C section. Let's see. I'm gonna make the text bigger so people can see it. My alarm's going off. This looks exactly like the file that Zig includes. It's the same. Oh, dude! Decal spec no vtable. What does that mean? Oh, that means no C++ vtable, I guess. Okay, that's fine. It's a subclass of IUnknown. And it's got these things. Should iSetup configuration have 3 methods? Well, it should have like 6 methods. It should have these 3, and then query interface, add ref, and remove ref. So I don't know why all this is in here twice. Like this whole file has all this stuff twice anyway. And there's an iSetup configuration and an iSetup config. This is just like somebody just pooped code all over the floor and then they said ship it. All right. I don't know what to do. IUnknown has 4 methods in it. 4 actually. Okay, wait. Let me refresh my IUnknown. Add ref, query interface, release. Okay, wait. Is Ignacio's IUnknown wrong? Wait, what? I was assuming that this was correct. Okay. Now I'm super confused. Oh my God, I think I know what's wrong. So I copied this from the DirectX headers, which might be doing a different thing, or maybe Ignacio never finished that and they're wrong. You know, this is the kind of thing that happens when you copy and paste code. So IUnknown, right, is a pointer to a vtable, as someone in Twitch chat just said. We're not using IUnknown. We're using the IUnknown vtable like at the top. That's the problem. So is not correct. So we are getting a setup configuration. Let's fix one at a time. This should say that. It shouldn't just go straight to the vtable, right? Redeclaration. Oh. Nobody's going to query for IUnknown. Yeah, so I think that's probably... Well, we could do this. That's the same. All right, we still crash, but this actually looks reasonable. Look, this, okay, this is a pointer to a vtable, so it's got a different address, and then we have 3 procedure pointers that all seem fine. Okay, that is better. That is better. It still doesn't work, but that is better. Okay, let's fix this on all these frickin' guys. We just had to put a star here. Okay, but also this is wrong, right? I mean, addref, 2 query interfaces and a release. Is that the correct order that these go in? And what are the 2 query interfaces? A 2 argument, IID, PPV object. A Q star star. What? What even is this? What are you talking about? So we're saying that's what IUnknown vtable is supposed to look like. The old MSDN only has 1 query interface. Pretty sure this is just new MSDN being garbage. Oh, okay. All right. The layout of a COM object. Query interface. Addref release get class ID. Oh, that's iPersist. Okay, no, this was right. Dude, I guess whoever wrote the documentation doesn't know that order matters. Okay. Okay, well, this is better. So it looks to me like I believe now that this is a valid iSetup configuration. This looks convincing to me. So the question then is, how are we messing up when we call it? How are we messing up when we call it? So this is fine. I believe that everything is correct up to here. And then I don't know. So like, let's actually look at enum instances, because, whoops. Is there any documentation for that actually? This is just the most garbage. Enum instances method enumerates all product instances installed. How does it do that? I don't know. Actually, you're saying, no, maybe it returns this thing. Yeah. This thing that enumerates. An enumerator is a thing that enumerates, by the way, guys. Holy fuck. This is just so bad. What is the memory layout of the vtable? You're looking at it right now. It's this. Well, and then followed by these. Actually, none of this matters right now. We're not even getting to the point where it returns us back one of these. We have a valid thing here. We're calling enum instances on this pointer and a pointer to this so that this can be returned. And that is crashing. And so it doesn't matter. The reason I'm saying it doesn't matter if our definition of enum setup instances is correct yet. It doesn't matter because we're not allocating storage for this. Like if we didn't have enough members and we weren't giving it enough memory, that is one reason why you might crash. But we're not doing that. It just wants a pointer sized thing that it can put the answer in. And so that's what we're giving it here. Has this been a multi-day ordeal just to find out one thing? Well, it's been a multi-stream ordeal where each stream was a couple hours. I would say for this one specific thing, we're probably on hour 3 or 4. Yeah, it's been pretty ridiculous. All right. So why would this crash? What are the possible reasons? One possible reason is that the iSetup configuration is wrong. It looks right to me. It looks right. Another reason, maybe the heap is just generally corrupted. I don't know if I believe that, but that could cause a crash. If we're not passing the right parameters in some way here, that is most likely to me. That seems like if I were to pick the problem, that is the most likely problem. However, it doesn't look that hard. Does addref work? That's a good question. Let's try that. First, let's just dereference it. Well, okay, we're able to get the procedure. It is far away from these, so I believe it. It's in 8.0 instead of 8.5. So let's call it. It should return the new reference count, right? Yeah. Yeah, let's make sure we have that correct here. Yep. Okay. So we're going to say we should get increasing numbers. Addref. Oh, it's not lowercase addref. There we go. Oh, right. Okay. So now we're having this problem where, remember how I didn't want to deal with this UUID situation? We're just going to do this. And we're going to go back here. So if we do this, then the language will implicitly cast our parameter down to IUnknown, just like in C++. Hopefully. All right. So we're calling addref 3, 4, 5. That looks like it's working. Okay. We're passing to this pointer in the same way. Let's delete some of this stuff. Delete some of this stuff. Okay. So we're calling addref. Boom, boom, boom. It's working. The reference count is going up. Enum instance is not working. It is defined as foreign, which is important. I don't know. Sure, you can borrow the Emacs colors. That's fine. So all the this call, standard call stuff only matters in 32-bit. For 64-bit, all that stuff got made to be the same, as far as I understand. So I don't know what is wrong. My temptation is actually now to do the C++ version, because like I said, we have to do that anyway. And see if that works, right? If enum instances crashes in C++, then we really know something is wrong. That's maybe not our problem somehow. I mean, it's overwhelmingly likely that it is our problem. It's, even though Microsoft fucks everything up these days, it's still 98% it's our problem. Where by our problem, I mean my problem, because I've been typing in all of this. However, if you don't know what to do, sometimes it's good to verify, like establish and verify that by doing the other thing. But before I go do that, because we're here and we're looking at this, maybe there's something else that we can do that's useful. We could try calling these other methods. Like I could call getInstance for current process. I don't know what that's supposed to do. Wanted I set up instance given I enum set up instances, right? These are just so similar. Right. Okay, that crashes also. Is all of this just to find the C runtime libs? Yes, there is nothing more to it. All we're trying to do is ask, where are the Visual Studio C runtime libs? We're not even like halfway through the code. We're just trying to get COM functionality working. Invoking vswhere.exe won't help do it. We're not going to run an external executable just to find a library. That's, again, like the fact that people think that that's acceptable is insane. Like, that's how a software becomes more and more complicated and crazy. Like, why do I have to package and run an entire separate program just to find a folder? Like, whose idea is that? It's crazy. How does the using thing in the struct definition for iSetup configuration work? All that does is it just says, let's go to the IUnknown. So IUnknown is using this vtable, first of all, which just means, hey, there's a pointer to a vtable, but you can use these names as if they were members of IUnknown. And it'll go through the pointer and dereference them. And then the same thing here. So this is using IUnknown. So every name in IUnknown gets imported to here, and it just finds it in the right place. I don't know if there's a C++ equivalent. I don't think there is, but I'm not sure. Might this just mean that we run VSWare to verify that the COM instances work correctly? That is not a bad idea. However, I don't even know, like VSWare could have all kinds of callbacks. I don't want the source. I want the download. Oh, it's now installed with Visual Studio. Can I not run command cmd? Dude, I try to run a command prompt and it exits now. There's no, oh wait, command.com? I don't know. CMD used to run the console. I don't even know what's going on anymore. Okay, let's just go to one of our random things. Is this in our path? No. C, program files. Microsoft Visual Studio 2017, professional. I don't even know. Is it an MS build? Maybe. VSWare. VSWare.exe. It's not going to find it. Let's go back here. Okay, it is in Visual Studio install for some reason. Okay. So, installer. Okay, it finds things, it looks like. Okay, so that says that VSWare is somehow able to find these things. I don't know if it's doing it the same way that we are doing it. I assume it is, but I don't know. Just run the developer prompt. No. No. First of all, the developer prompt doesn't even work anymore. Okay, if you'd installed the newest Visual Studio, you would know that. But secondly, no, that's not an acceptable dependency. You lifted some of the code from VSWare. Okay. If VSWare is installed now at a predictable location, could you just use that? No, it is not installed at a predictable location because first of all, if you don't have Visual Studio 2017, if you have an earlier one, you're not going to have VSWare. Secondly, next frickin' patch, they're going to change where VSWare is because that's what they do all the time. So you would have to copy it and distribute it with the compiler. And no, we're not going to run a goddamn external program just to find a folder. That's, dude, just please stop suggesting that. It's not okay. All right. Anyway, this is the thing. So as bad as COM is and as absurd as COM is, you need to be able to use it a little bit to do some Windows stuff, right? And so, you know, debugging this and making this work is a necessary step so that we can have this stuff working, so that when we give out the compiler and somebody else has to interface with some other really ugly COM library, they'll be able to do it because we laid the groundwork and we debugged all the things. So Would it be possible to just require Clang instead of Visual Studio? The thing is that linking to C is a big mess, both on Linux and on Windows at this point. It used to not really be a big mess on Windows, but now it is. So the problem is, if you want to link against a precompiled C++ library, that precompiled C++ library is going to have dependencies on a particular Visual Studio runtime. And like Clang isn't probably going to be able to resolve those dependencies for you, I assume. And even if they can right now, then next month they won't be able to. So it's a mess. We need to be able to deal with that mess. What about having users of the compiler manually specify the path you're trying to get? Because the whole reason we're putting in effort is so that people don't have to have this miserable time that I'm having right now. People don't want to figure this stuff out. They want to compile programs. Making the user figure it out is totally the open source method, and I don't endorse that at all. It's a giant waste of everybody's time. What Sir Kane said could be true. I think your iSetup configuration functions are in the wrong place, getting placed behind the vtable pointer instead of being appended to the vtable struct. Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, they look right, but that doesn't mean they are right. It could be different functions that are there. I don't know how COM vtables are supposed to be structured, actually. Is it supposed to be that there's a pointer to IUnknown and then there's your methods? Or is it supposed to be all the methods in a line? If it's supposed to be all the methods in a line, we're not doing that right now. It doesn't look like all the methods in a line. That's what we had first, and that was wrong. So yeah. Have I seen iSetup configuration 2? I have glanced past it in those files, but haven't really looked at it. Scanning the entire drive and all attached storage devices and maybe the internet. Yes. It could be dref then in a line because Windows. Well, I don't know why that doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, it could be that. It could be that. I don't think. Struct ISOM interface, IUnknown, blah, 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 will have function pointers all in a line. All right, let's actually read the documentation so that I know what it's supposed to be. I only glanced at this page before. Okay, if it's like C++, then we would expect the vtable to be in a line. Okay. That means we have to declare things differently from how we were declaring it. All right. Right. Oh, yeah. I even looked at this before, and I saw that this was mashed in a line with that. But I wasn't thinking about this particular question, so I was like, okay. All right, so the answer is it's like a C++ vtable, and then whatever else is here is the data members, right? Okay, okay, so we're not doing this right now, so that's the problem. Okay. Okay, so what we really need to do, let's go back to here. Okay, let's get rid of our current process and our addref. Okay, we know that addref is in the right place. Let's sort of put that aside for now. We're back to calling enum instances, which is what we actually want. Okay, so the problem is, yeah, we're telling it the function pointers are in the wrong place. What we have to do, this is iSetup configuration. So those function pointers that we're seeing are not these three. They're like something else. They're like private member pointers on the thing doing something else. Which is probably why we're crashing when we call them. And it's coincidence that there happen to be three, I think. Or maybe not. Maybe the vtable jumps back to these, but with some other parameters. I don't know. But really, the way this has to go is something like this. And maybe we can do this better. God. So this is a struct. We're going to say using IUnknown vtable. Right. And then we put this. Right. So that's, hey, here's the IUnknown methods, 3 of them. And then here's ours. And this says, hey, we have a pointer to our vtable, and what else? I don't know. It's not, I guess, not public information. What else is here? We know there's something else. Hey, we didn't crash. Finally. Okay. So, now, since this is a okay. Since all we're using this for is like as a pointer to the vtable, we could just use an extra layer of indirection. We could streamline the code by having an extra layer of indirection and just using the vtable and not defining this struct at all. But for clarity, I'm not going to do that for now, because that'll just make it even more confusing, but we could. It would be possible. Okay. But if we're All right, so we have in instances. We have to do this to everything. Let me give this a better name. So we're doing that, and then this. And then we'll do this. Okay. Here's our instances. Next. Oh, this is wrong. This looks bad. Wait, what? Did I miss that? This has the wrong number of things again. Hold on. Did I miss a pointer somewhere? Oh, yeah. This is pointer. This is pointer. Okay. Well, now we just don't get that much information. But we can print okay. Okay, so that looks like all the information. Did I go robot or something? What's happening? More vtables that you would get back with query interface and some other IIDs. Yeah, good point. That's probably what those were. Is using how you embed a struct into another struct? Well, you don't have to use using. Using just means you can use the names at the top level struct. But of course, you can just have members of a struct in another struct. Using is just saying I want to use the names. Shouldn't I set up instances? Did I mess something up? Let's see. Shouldn't I set up instances? Have a I set up instances vtable? There is no I set up instances. There's a setup instance and a enum setup instances. Right? I setup instance. Yeah, okay, this is a good point. We would have figured that out if we tried to use it because the names are different, but it's true. Okay, so now okay, what do we do with an instance? Let's close that. These are the same. Let's close that. Let's close that. Let's close that. Okay, that's for later. Okay. So then we call next and get installation path. And that's going to be a beaster, a beastmaster. We have to get the beastmasters. Okay. I don't like having complex clauses in a while. That's just not how I do it. Instances dot next instances comma 1 comma that's a beastmaster, and then we say get installation path Wow, if we work up to here, then we will actually have data. Okay, so I have no idea what Celt and Gelt and pcelt fetched. Count elements, like how many elements forward, I guess, and then return. All right. This whole thing is like crawling through a sewer. We got a path. We got a path. Okay, well, this beaster is going to be a wide string. Okay, so beaster count is beaster inst path 0. Beaster data. I think it's a 2-byte count, right? Count 67, I believe it. All right, so we're going to go. Unfortunately, wide to UTF-8 expects only 0 termination right now. Wait, where is it? Where's my wide to UTF-8? Is it here? No. Where is that? Because we might as well make like a beaster to Windows UTF-8. Okay. So wide to UTF-8, we can have beaster to UTF-8. Count is beaster 0, data is beaster of 1, and then can I just if the parameter is -1, for the entire intermediate terminating null. Okay, so actually we don't have to cut and paste this. We can say length put it here. Length of -1 means it's 0 terminated. So here we're just going to say we get the count, and then we say return y to UTF-8 bstir +1 bstir 0 allocator return results success. That's it. I think that's right. bstir is a string type used by the beastmaster, com. Okay. Bstir to UTF-8 of bstir inst path print. All right. Path. Blah. Okay, well, we're missing the C on the C colon program files, whatever. I'm not sure why, because I thought, am I wrong? Is this not a bstir? I thought a bstir has the count. Is it just wrong, my idea of the bstir? Bstirs can have zeros as valid characters in the middle of strings, so probably better to use the specified length. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm passing the length in here. Oh, right. Oh, shit. I forgot that part. I forgot to actually pass the length. Okay. I meant to have length be -1 or whatever you pass in. And I forgot, so thank you for saying that. Okay. All right. So we have a path. We're missing the C, and we've got some spaces at the end. Did we have those before? No. So now we even have spaces. So our understanding of the bstir, either our understanding of the bstir is not correct or something. But this 67, that seems approximately right. Hmm. 67 is C? Oh. Let me reread about the bstir, because I've been skimming a lot of things. A bstir is a pointer to an alternative character string in which the string length is stored with the string. Length is... Oh, it's 4 bytes, not 2 bytes. This is the most unhelpful documentation. Let's read this guy who wants us to see his face. Dude, just tell me the information that matters. I don't... How is this the most verbose thing I've ever seen and is still not telling me the format of the thing? Oh my God. Wait, I thought the length was stored with the string. So a 10-byte bstr contains 5 Unicode characters. Is it stored before the pointer? A bstr always points to the first valid character in the buffer. The first 4 bytes are 32-bit integer. Okay, it's the 4 bytes before the pointer. I had to skim through this much text to know that it's the 4 bytes before the pointer. Bstr sub minus, well, length, cast, S32, U32, I guess. Bstr minus 2, right? And then bstr length. All right, fine. Our assertion failed. Okay, well, okay, so this count is wrong, by the way, when we said count 67. Well, we started at the C this time, but now our length is way too big. What do we think the length is? Length 128. It's a suspiciously round number. I don't believe that this is 128 characters. So You're pretty sure that character 0 is the size? Oh, it's length in bytes. That's what's wrong. Yeah, no, character 0 is not the size. Sorry. Well, now we're missing one character. Okay. Bstr length. We can read expert sex change. Oh, they finally put a hyphen in the URL. It used to be expert sex change. Oh, God. Nobody knows how anything works anymore. They're all just like, do this, do that. The specs say it should be 0 terminated. Yeah. You know, since it's 0 terminated, we actually don't need to do this beast master at all. Note the length here seems not quite right. Figure it out. So the thing is, it actually, because the length is before the pointer, you can just treat it as a wide string. So we can just call wide to UTF-8 in principle, and that just works, right? Okay, there we go. We are ignoring the Beastmaster length. Maybe the UTF-8 conversion function has a bug. It might be that length does not mean what I think it does. It might be that length in wide char to multi-byte does not mean what I think it does. Warning. Okay. We actually got a path. This is good. This is good. After many hours, we actually have a useful piece of information. It's amazing. It's almost like you can write a program to do things. Okay. So they're looking at VC Tools version for some reason. If they don't find this tools file, then they bail. I don't know why, but okay. So now this is weird. This is wrong. Again, okay, this is why you don't copy and paste code. So if the tools file isn't there, they go to com done, which means they stop searching. They're looping through multiple instances. So if there are multiple installations and one of the installations is wrong or corrupted, they're going to break out of their loop and not find the other installations. That's what this looks like to me. The tools file stores the version information for the MSVC version. Oh, we actually have to read the tools file? Yeah. Oh, Dominus, are you Ryan? Dominus? Don't forget to sys free string the beaster. Yeah, I don't know if we need to do that. We also may need to do we need to sys free string beaster inst path? Okay, that's a thing that we will need to read the documentation to figure out. Probably, unless it doesn't tell us, and then we just, let's be honest, the documentation probably doesn't tell us. It's a dumb handle from WoW 8 years ago, okay. Yeah, so if, I guess we need to read the tools file. So if it doesn't exist, we want to continue. We don't want to break. And in fact, I guess if this instance doesn't work, we want to continue. It's just, the only time we want to break is if we're done with all our instances. All right, so we get the tools file name. We see if that file exists. It does. So they're F opening the file. Reading a path out of the first line of the file and then closing the file. Really? This is amazing, okay? All this comm stuff that we're doing could just tell us the thing that we want to know if we're going to go through this much effort. But it just tells us a file that we have to read to get the information that we want to know. It's like a multiple step game of telephone. Yeah, oh, it's a good point. We got to release the comm interfaces. We don't want to leak them. Including these instances, right? Like, when I grab an instance, if I continue or whatever, I want to release it, right? So defer instance.release, right? No, we don't need, this isn't. We need to do that no matter what, because any of these continues can cause us to leak that reference. Wanted unknown. Ugh. I don't want to deal with that right now. Okay. Because again, we're subclassing from the V table, so like, ugh. Okay, let's say incomplete. Make calling release nicer. Okay. So let's look at what this file has in it, just so that we know. VC, auxiliary build, VC tools version .default.txt. Never mind that they're going to change the name of this file in the next Visual Studio. Anyway, oh. How ridiculous can this be? I just don't even know. Do I have something like await or coroutines in the language? No, that is, we don't have that, and that's not really in the plan. I don't think those are the kind of feature that we're targeting. It's seriously, we are so debated, right? Like, why can't this iSetup configuration just frickin' tell it? I don't know. We are so debated. Okay, so we're going to go read entire file. tools file 14.12.25827. I'm going to print less of this stuff out since we don't need that. Okay. So we're getting our tools file. Dude, the file name is like 20 times longer than the data. What did I think was easier? Getting the Visual Studio installed or designing a good language for games? I'm not going to answer that question. Don't forget to trim the file content. Oh, it definitely has end of line. And we don't even know, like, the next version of it, even though there's only one line, the next version of it, it might add more lines or something. So we don't want to trust that we only have to trim. So let's use Emacs find character from left. I don't remember what these return, even though I wrote them. Find character from left returns the left-hand side of the string. So version find characters from defer free tools file. Find character from left. Now, of course, it's Windows, so God only knows if there's like, yeah, I don't know. So the tools file maybe has a return in it. Yeah. Tools file has a return, oh, and a line feed. Version also has, see, version has the carriage return frickin'. What is it? Is 10 line feed? What is line feed in ASCII? Is 10. This carriage return in ASCII is 13? 13. So it's 1310 is the pattern, right? So there we go. Okay. Whoops. Oh. If we don't find the character trimmed Okay, so we've got a version. Let's stop printing out the tools file name and the file. So Now what? We say okay, so they're also taking the \r\n. Should I make this a \r? I believe we know what that means. Yeah. All right. So output buff, they copied the path into. Or no, they're copying, yeah. VC tools MSVC version. Yeah. Okay. Library path is going to be tprint whatever and whatever. There are two whatevers. The first is the installation path, and the second is the version. Oh my God, we're going to be there. Oh my God, look, look. It's, if I paste this, we're in the place. Wait, why is it NR instead of RN? It's not NR. It's just, I'm trimming the new line. Oh, I don't know. I'll think about it. I could do that a different way so that it makes more sense. Okay. For now, we only care about x64. We don't do other platforms right now, so we're just going to put that. And that's going to be success. I have to go to the South Bay to do something today, so that is, we're going to declare success there. We should have a thing that just we could do this. Version is trim left tools file, right? So the first of either of those, if trim left does what I think. Oh, that didn't work. What? Trim left. Doesn't do what I thought. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Like, for some reason, they might change to Unix line endings tomorrow or something because they're doing all this Linux stuff, right? Maybe they ran their installer in Linux and it doesn't have a \r anymore. So if we didn't find it, then we're going to say right, and then if not version found, continue. So that's all. All right. So we found our path. Oh my God. Okay, so we're going to declare victory there for now. And, well, actually, no, because that's all we needed. So we can actually return library path, right? And then we return nothing here. And so we say VC path is find Visual Studio path in a ridiculous garbage way. If no VC path, then we report an error to find Visual Studio installation runtime library folder can't compile. Okay, so instead of these libpath lines, we're gonna say arguments, comma, libpath, colon, backslash quote, percent backslash quote, comma, VC path, right? Whoops, tprint. Oh, we're returning the wrong thing now because we changed the return value. Hey, it worked all the way out to here. We now find this and the Windows kits. We're not actually done. You might think we are done, but we are not done because all of this that we just did, it's true that I have eat spaces. All of this that we just did only finds Visual Studio 2017. Everything from previous versions we haven't done yet. However, that is just registry stuff, which should be way easier than what we just did. And even though I had to suffer through hours of figuring out why my COM declarations were not correct, those are now correct, which means that people will be able to do COM stuff in the future and have an example to go from and whatever. I don't know. It's true, it only worked on my computer so far. That's why, by the way, because I'm driving to the South Bay for a little bit, I'm not going to check this in because when this mysteriously doesn't work on other people's computers, I want to be around to fix the problem. Clang uses the setup instance get installation version, iSetup helper parse version to find the newest version, and then reads the tools file to determine the tool's path, which is definitely better than what I did. That sounds like the same thing, almost the same thing. Why is that any better? I don't understand why that would be better. We will consider this. I don't know what parse version, get installation version. And then reads the tools file. I mean, if we have to read the tools file anyway, then how is this a shortcut? Not checking return of enum instances. It's a good point. Thank you. Make sure to keep VS 2015 around just to make use of the registry code. Yeah, I have to install VS 2015. Maybe I have it on this machine. I have it on either this machine or my work machine. No, just the work machine. So that's the thing, is I'm not even going to be able to test the registry code here if I do it on stream. So maybe we'll just do it on stream and make it compile and run and then just not verify that it works yet. There are several libpath in that command line. Yeah. These other libpaths are for the Windows SDK, which we did on a previous stream by querying the registry. So this is correct. This one is for the Visual Studio runtime, and this is for the Windows SDKs. It should be trim, right? I mean, names could be confusing. Like, does trim left trim and return the left, or does it trim things off the left? I don't know. If it trims things off the left, that might explain why it was crashing. Or it shouldn't actually explain a crash, but Clang setup queries which instance is newer and selects whichever is newer. So it does that by parsing the version and then picking the greatest version number is what you're saying? Maybe we'll do that. The thing is, you still have to do all this stuff, because if the installation is incomplete or whatever, we actually like if the installation's incomplete, but there's a different installation, you want to return the one that works. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was something stupid. There were several things that were stupid, but we finally are working. We finally have a path that we got from Visual Studio. Wait till you see where this part came from, by the way. That's my favorite. That's my favorite of the whole thing. Okay. Yeah, MSDN not caring about member order. That was good. That was good action. Let's see who to host. That looks like it could be programming. IEnumerator. He's doing com enumeration. I almost want to host this just for that reason. Save the hero trying to fix things. Oh, this guy's got a nice big font.
It should say.
Okay. We're going to host him because he has a really big font.
take this.
Thanks
one
everyone for coming by. See you later.
And we'll copy it and we'll bring it over to the other one down here.